So the funny thing is, I said I was never going to join the military because I experienced what it was like to grow up in an active duty environment. My dad was gone a lot, and so I ended up not joining until after college. I was in the military for almost 13 years. I joined in 2001.
Joined the Marine Corps in January 1 of 2002. 9/11 happened. I went to the Marine Corps recruiter's office and told the guy there, if you sign me up infantry, then I'll sign up today.
Grateful for the opportunity to participate in this.
Go ahead, spread out, and we'll get weird.
I joined the military right out of high school. I was looking for some adventure and wanted to challenge myself.
I served 15 years. I was deployed for longest deployment in the Iraq War, 22 months long.
I guess I had a lot of night terrors. I don't recall them. I didn't really notice anything until my wife did.
The Afghanistan deployment was different because at that point I was married and I had a child. And I always tell people when I left, he was a toddler. When I came home, he was a little boy.
My military career was really short-lived. I got a major TBI, blew out both my knees and my back. I felt like a failure. I spent 20 years just drinking just so I could sleep.
I ran combat patrols and convoy escorts looking for the IEDs. 9 times out of 10, you find an IED is you hit it. I don't know how I'm still here, but I am.
So I served in the initial invasion to Iraq in 2003. I fell into some pretty severe symptoms of combat stress, diagnosed with PTSD and depression. Started talking with my buddies about it. At that time, I was the only person that was able to pull out of it. I felt like I had an answer. I stumbled on something that worked for me, and it might be able to work for my friends. So that's when I decided to start 23rd Veteran. When we leave the military, the number one thing that's shown that veterans miss is that team, that camaraderie. The way it actually works is we get a dozen veterans, we stick them on an airplane and send them to the other side of the country where they go to an outdoor wellness adventure. Being in that kind of situation, slightly uncomfortable, unfamiliar, other side of the country with these people and having to rely on each other to survive, we're able to build that camaraderie like we had in the military.
I'd have to say, you know, going in, I had my walls up. I was keeping people at arm's reach. You get to a point where you have to be dependent upon one another really quickly.
A bunch of strangers, and within a couple days making this bond, and then we go out and we live on our own. And we were a team. We cheered each other on. If somebody needed help, that we helped them.
Just seeing how big those mountains were surrounding us, thinking nobody could ever climb this. And then a day or two later, being on top looking down, I needed a reminder to remind me of what I'm capable of.
In combat or any traumatic situation, when our heart rate is elevated, our brain releases BDNF so that we can remember that traumatic situation on a subconscious level. And therefore, we get these triggers locked in. So the science shows that BDNF helps us form our memories. And the science shows BDNF is available when our heart rate is above an aerobic state. So they do a week in the outdoor wellness, and then they come back on Monday, they show up, they do a 1-hour workout. We sit down on the gym floor and we go through positive psychology. We start with 3 things that we're grateful for. We go through 3 times a week fitness and positive psychology together. We talk about a discussion question that's based in either oxytocin, serotonin, rebuilding our habits, which is based in dopamine, dropping our old bad habits, building our new good habits.
Tell you what my wife says. Since being in this program, she's seen somebody who's more patient, more compassionate.
I've made huge gains. Still got a ways to go, physically and mentally, but I have a great start with this program.
I didn't have a lot of faith in myself. This is really kind of, I'm back on track. I'm moving forward.
There was a study that came out, 22 veterans were killing themselves every day. So I was looking back at my personal experience. It's like, wow, I was almost one of those 22 veterans. So I felt like I was the next closest thing, and that's the 23rd veteran. And our plans for the future is to be in the top 50 cities. It's been a goal to expand it to help all of those that I served with.